What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today, on a new installment of Slice of TV, we are sitting down to discuss Episode 7 of Paramount Plus's Halo series. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful Andrew Schoening.
Hi, everyone.
It's going to be the happiest part of the episode, just doing the intro.
Absolutely.
So we are talking about Episode 7 of Halo, titled Inheritance. So this
I
show
inherited rage.
so what we're gonna do, like always, is we talk about our thoughts on the episode, spoiler free, and then once we run out of things to talk about spoiler free, we'll give you guys a warning, so you guys can make sure to go watch the episode and then come back and listen to our spoiler filled review of the episode. All right, so here we go. Shouting, tell me your thoughts, non-spoilers, of your I can't even talk. Just go.
I hate this episode. I hate this episode. I want to burn Quan Ha with a match.
Whoa.
I'm so done with this character. I'm sorry. Just to be very, very vague about this episode, let's just start with it. There are plot holes to begin with. People are in places and you don't get an explanation of how really they got there. You just kind of I'm sorry, it's out of the whole series, this is probably the most poorly written episode I have seen. There is nothing absolutely like integral still to the plot of
Nope.
anything here. They kind of give you kind of something that you feel like maybe could be part of the plot, but if it honestly is a big part of the plot, I'm going to be disappointed. That's all I got to say until we get to some spoilers.
I'm right there with you. We talked, what was it, episode 4 of this show was
Yeah.
bad? That was a bad episode.
Mhm.
But it was bad for many reasons. This is just a pointless, useless episode that did not need to exist. It was just one of those things where they went, oh yeah, you remember them? And I went, I was trying not to, but you had to give me this episode full of those people I did not care about. And after this episode was over, I still continued to not care. But now it's like, we know that it's going to tie in. Like, this garbage that I don't care about is going to tie into the things I do care about, and I don't want that. I don't want it.
Right.
I don't want it. I hope it just ends. I hope it's just like, good job, Quan. You did what you had to do. Now go away. Listen,
get out of here.
This is, and I'm not putting any fault to the actress. I think she is doing I think her performance as this character is good.
Yes.
If it wasn't part of Halo, if it wasn't like, if it was its own, if they made a show called whatever the fuck it can be, I don't care.
Let's just call it The Adventures of Quan Ha. Why not?
There you go. I'd say, hey, this character is pretty good. I think the actress is doing a great job with what she's given. I think she does very good with showing different emotions and, flipping from being, scared to being kind of like standing up for herself and standing up for what she believes in. But the whole fact that it has to do in this, it's part of Halo. That's what annoys me. It's like the writers are just, filler episodes of shows are dumb. Stop doing it, people who write. Stop making filler episodes because they don't need to be there. Did you just run out of ideas?
I'd honestly,
shit, I don't know where to go with the story.
I'd much rather have one episode less in the series if that meant not having these filler episodes. That
money you spent on making this episode could have went into special effects, visual effects, anything. But instead, we got this. And they keep doing my man, what the hell? I can't even remember his name. I'm just like, I'm such in a haze right now. The guy who plays Soren, he's a great actor. I love him. Every time I see him on screen, and he's on screen a lot for in different movies and shows that I've seen in the past. He's fantastic. Bokeem Woodbine.
Yep.
I love him. He's a great actor, but I don't care about his character. I don't care about anything that goes on with him or Quan. I don't care.
Yeah. I just oh,
It's, and we'll say that a lot. We just don't care. This episode was pointless. It was pointless. It literally
I
just said, "Hey, we wrapped up that shit that was going on in Magical. It's all wrapped up.
yep,
It's over." You're like, I still don't care.
yep. I'm so oh, I'm gonna need to see a therapist after this.
Let's just say this episode is not going to be nearly as long as the other episodes because I don't want to talk about it that much.
This is
Because
gonna
it's
be about as long as episode 4 was for us.
oh my
It
goodness.
might
This
be
is
shorter, people, so I'm
right.
sorry to disappoint you in advance.
I mean, as of right now, this is the worst episode of the show. To be honest, though, the way I just want to clarify the way that this episode was written wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as episode 4 writing wise. It was just the fact that it doesn't feel like the same show.
No, it's
It's
a
not
totally different show.
it doesn't feel like it's part of this universe, even though we've seen Quan and Soren with the characters that are in the actual shit I care about section, like Chief and everybody else. I just don't care. Just don't care. I'm gonna say that a lot. This episode it's just dumb. It's just a dumb episode. Stop. All right. You got anything else to say before we jump into spoilers? This was a quick one because it
No, because
was
I'm just ready to go on a rage-fueled tangent here.
all right. I know people are going to be like, listen, you need to relax. It's, no, I don't. Like,
No,
I'm
I
investing my
don't. I'm
time
sorry.
in watching this show. And to be honest, this isn't the only show that's ever done it. There's
No,
I've watched a lot of
it's
shows where they have episodes like this where it's like, why is this here?
why is
Why
this
did you
here?
waste money on this? Did you run out of ideas and you're just like, we need a week, guys? Just write something for people to keep people occupied until we actually can continue this story.
I oh, just I'm just disappointed. I'm sorry. There's
Yep.
so many, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But there's just so much that disappoints me in this episode that I'm to the point of I don't care what if you think that I'm overreacting to this
Yeah.
because I I have voiced my opinion about what I think drives this series, and this episode in particular totally just basically just ignored every bit of that.
Yep. It sure did. So, if you haven't seen episode 7 of Halo, to be honest, I'm just going to say don't watch it. Like, it really does not add
Just
anything to
don't.
the story.
No, there's nothing here
Um,
that's going to even just follow us to the spoilers.
yeah, if you haven't seen it and you don't like it, and what we're saying is definitely turning you off from watching it, just this episode. Listen, I want people to continue watching the show. Just don't watch this episode. This episode is
You've
just
got
so dumb.
you've got 2 episodes left in this series. I'm sorry, they gotta go better than this
Right.
one. Do not get turned off by the series from what we're about to say in this episode,
Yeah.
but you do not need to watch this episode to get the gist of
Yeah.
of a story that they
Not
should be trying to weave.
Not at all. And I'm gonna keep throwing it out as an example. It feels very much like season 1 of The Mandalorian. You
Mhm.
have some really good story, and then they add dumb filler episodes. The only thing that's difference between the Mandalorian season 1 and this is that um Mandalorian, even when they had those filler episodes, Mando was still there. He was
Yep.
still doing stuff. And yeah, people be like, "Oh, Chief was in this." No, he wasn't. He wasn't in
Not
this
really.
episode.
No. No.
Listen, we're gonna spoil it right now. She was higher in a kite.
Yeah.
And she was seeing shit. That's why Chief was there. All right.
I'm gonna start with my
Spoilers.
first grievance of the whole damn thing, and that's why are we bringing witchcraft into Halo? Legitimately, we go on a spirit quest here.
Yep. Mhm.
We like she drinks the Kool-Aid, this magic fire Kool-Aid, and then all of a sudden she's like you said higher than a kite, and she goes on this magic spirit quest to supposedly find out what the purpose of her family is. Next thing also that I wanna bitch about is how did Soren get off-world? Did I miss something?
I
The dude was knocked out in the back of
plot
the
holes,
little where what happened?
plot holes. Unless the people that were in the dust storm were people from the rubble. That's the place where he lives. So just for everybody, like, what the hell is he talking about? Um, and she just was left there. It was stupid. I didn't like it. I didn't like everything that I didn't like the whole Soren being at this lavish party telling his stupid ass stories, pretty much being a egotistical dick
Yeah.
and then treating his part. I mean, to be honest, I felt bad for his partner more than like his
Squirrel.
yeah, Squirrel's trying to
Squirrel.
figure his shit out. Soren's kind of all about himself
Yeah.
and yeah, Soren
They did
sucks.
they did Soren's character pretty dirty in this one.
They wrote him like the way that they introduced this character in episode was it 2
Yep.
is he the whole his whole backstory is he's a guy who escapes the Spartan program to go better his life, and to be honest he does, but he comes off as such a douchebag that I don't
Oh,
care about
sure.
him. Like I just don't give a shit, and I love this actor so much.
Well, I
Seriously, he's
think
such a good actor.
his character had this amazing potential for a story back when you first met him. I mean, it was like, he's the Spartan that got away.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, a lot of Master Chief's development through this whole season could have been wrapped with Soren very easily about, the whole thing, but they basically threw him to the side, gave him to Quan, and now we've hated his
Yep.
guts since episode 4, basically.
Yep. It's just full of just who cares? What the I mean the what's his name? Grath, the
Yep.
like dictator dude, another guy who I've seen him in a lot of other things, and I think he is good. I think he's good at being a bad guy. I think he just has that look about him. But he was just again, I don't care. Like I just don't give a shit. Like stop it.
There's not a character that's on Madrigal that I genuinely care
Nope,
about.
not at
Not
all.
not a single
Don't care
one.
about any of this.
I don't care about the planet, I don't care about the characters. I don't care if Quan Ha is the protector of some magical portal that I'm guessing must lead to Halo. I don't give a
Yep,
damn.
that's
I
probably where it's gonna go.
I that's like the one thing that they're doing. So it's like we have been led on this weird ass winding road across whatever now 4 or 5 episodes leading to something that we thought, was gonna be, hey, they're gonna redeem Quan by the end of this. She's gonna have some major turning point. Madrigal's gonna be a big deal. Or probably the way that the UNSC probably gets to Halo
Uh huh.
at the end, at the end of it, and that's probably all it's gonna be. And she is the by God, she is the person that's got to lead Master Chief specifically through some weird ass prophecy that her great great grandfather stumbled across because he found a fucking well, and just I don't nothing makes sense,
Nope.
man.
Nope. Guess what,
Don't
guys? Chief was there in spirit or just the weird hallucination that was just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Oh, she's got to go through. She's got to be. Oh, you're not ready. It's always how it goes. They meet like these people that met with the dad, and then it's like, you're not ready. You're just full of rage. And she's like, yeah, I know. That's the whole point. That's why. Aren't wouldn't you be like
Yeah.
if your dad died and you kind of want to take your
Absolutely.
planet back? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think what the hell's her name? What the heck is Kwan's actress's name? So I can give her
Garen Ha.
Yirin Ha. Oh wow, her actual name is the same, pretty close to her
Pretty
character's name.
close, yeah.
Like I said, I think she's a good actress, and I think she's doing a good job for what she's being given. I don't think like her performance is bad. It's just the writing is bad for her character because they're just not making me care about her because there's
We
just too
love
much
you as a person,
separation. Like
hate you
if
as an actor. Or
ex-
Yeah, he choose a character, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things where I think if she stuck around with Chief, throughout this story, we would have cared more because of her circumstance at the beginning of the series. She watches her dad die. She pretty much hitches a ride with Chief. She's supposed to be eliminated, but Chief saves her. But then he just dumps her off, and then that's when I just stopped caring because it's like, no, great. Now we're just gonna have these two separate stories. One where I'm just like,
Mhm.
this is what's important, and then this where it's like, who cares? Because I
Right.
don't care.
She could have been so much better of a tool if they would have used her like Soren to explore Chief's humanity as he finds it again after, as he progresses, without his emotional suppressor pellets and all
Yep.
of the other stuff. If they would have kept her around along with Soren and made them like a ragtag band, of
Right.
hopping across the galaxy to figure out what the hell Halo is, I would have been so much more invested in these characters because I feel like they could have actually helped Chief explore his humanity.
Yep.
Instead of being a machine, he's a human and he's got feelings and stuff like that. And somehow, between the two of them, they could come across something and Chief's character could have developed a long way. And instead, it's like you said, they dropped him off. They started a whole separate storyline. These characters have not seen each other since episode 2,
Yep.
just how it is.
Yeah. Um, I agree. Fincher Grath, a generic bad guy who gets a generic end to his, I guess, storyline. There's no storyline with this guy. He
There's no
just was a piece of
storyline.
shit who tries to take over the planet and then he dies. He dies. He dies a very unceremoniously by getting blown up.
Mhm.
Um,
You never see a body, though.
no. Oh, great.
It
Oh, great. Are we gonna? Oh, he's
if
just
you
he crawls out like freaking Anakin at the end of episode 3. Like I'm still
I
alive.
why I'm
Please,
sorry, I
please
have
don't
this
do that.
very stupid feeling that we could almost see that because
Mm.
you see him, you see the flames and stuff, and he's like, "Whoa," like that, and
Yeah,
then all of a
yeah,
sudden, it's just he's gone. There's no mention of who anybody who's, like, halfway dead or anything because of the explosion. Nope, everybody's just gone, and
yeah.
I'm like, "Why do I get the feeling that this guy is going to
Show up
just show
somehow.
up somewhere out of the
Yeah,
blue somehow?"
please don't.
He did something, he ducked behind a car or something, and it saved his I don't know.
Please, 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 please don't do that.
I just I have never felt so let down after we actually had 2 what I consider to be relatively good episodes, with Master Chief.
Yeah.
We had episode, 5, which had all of the wonderful action that we got from the end of that with the fight scene.
Yep.
6 was even pretty good. We were bracing ourselves because we were like, "We're gonna get something crappy here," but we got a full Chief episode where we were like, "This is story driven. We're starting to piece some relationships between characters together. This is great." And then all of a sudden, we get episode 7 and The Adventures of Quan Ha.
Yep. I mean, that was it. I mean, it was literally the Quan show for this episode. No mention of like anything that's going on the outside. It's pretty much just her trying to take her. I mean, literally her whole mission throughout this entire series is just, I need to get my planet back. All right. Well, now you have it back. Can you just leave now? Can you just stop being a part of this? Like your mission is complete. We're good. I wish they never mentioned that stupid portal that we're definitely going to be seeing, and they're going to see a
Oh, I'm
reunion
sure.
between Chief and Quan, and you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I don't care." Um, yeah, I just these final two episodes need to really just hit hard. They need to
We've gotta
be bangers.
we've gotta kick it into overdrive here before
Yeah,
too long because you are coming up on the end of a first season, and I feel like if you really wanna suck people in and get people to come back to watch the 2nd season,
yeah,
you need to leave them with something that makes them go like, "Okay."
yep,
It just is such a far cry from at the end of episode 6, you getting Chief and McKee sitting basically daydreaming about Halo. You see Halo, you're
Yep.
like, "Ooh,
Here we go.
plot
This is what I
progression.
want. This is
Cool,
what I
this is where
want.
we're going."
Yep.
And, like, we're in the end game now. We're starting to see what we wanted to see this whole episode or this whole season.
Yep.
And now then all of a sudden you take such a major step back where, like you said, there is no reference to anything that's been going on at all.
Yep.
It's a completely solid, just these are the issues of Madrigal and this is what we're doing. And uh I mean, you can sum the whole episode up into like three sentences. Basically, Quan goes on a spirit quest. Quan fights bad guy. Soren leaves. Quan is now waiting for Chief.
Yep.
It's legitimately it.
Yep.
And it's like you said, then on top of that, Venture Grath just gets the most bland death out of all of them. You know, he's supposed to be this big bad baddie, and they just
I mean, I never felt that way. I just the way that they were trying to portray him, like he was supposed to be a bad guy,
yeah,
like someone you were supposed to be like, "Oh no, what's gonna happen with him?" And you're like, I don't care.
right,
Magical equals don't give a shit. And I've said it
right,
since the beginning. All right. It was cool in the beginning when you see the cool fight scene where the Spartans come down and they fight the Covenant, and you're like, yeah, because that's what I cared about. All right. And then the fact that they're like, okay, Quan is, the lone survivor. She gets picked up by Chief. Chief just, decides to break his orders, and you get the cool escape scene where he escapes with Quan. You're like, cool. It's gonna be like a
yep,
cool buddy thing. And then Quan just gets delivered to Soren, who I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool because this guy is awesome. I love this actor, and this character sucks.
yep.
And now they're so I got a character who I wanted to like who sucks, and then I got Quan, who I thought would just be, if she just stayed with Chief the whole time, this would have been way better. But the writers just didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do with this character. They're like, people will care, right? Like we could just literally write her own storyline, and people will be like, yeah, we're all about it. Yeah, if her and Chief were like together, not back to Madrigal, to this useless Tatooine-ish planet. I'm so sick of looking at desert planets. As much as I'm so
Sand,
excited for Kenobi,
space is made of
I'm so
sand.
sick of goddamn sand planets. Jesus.
Don't worry about it. We have it real good right here on Earth, people, because apparently space is all just sand.
Yeah, seriously. Jesus. Oh boy. But yeah, overall this episode is the worst of the season, and it sucks that it's so far into the season that we had to get this shit.
I, I'm scrolling through IMDb here. I'm looking across the synopsises of all of the past episodes that we've had of Halo so far.
Yep.
And I'm going back here now to episode 4, which we didn't like,
Hmm.
because of all the flashbacks, and then, of course, Quan's story, we were
Yep.
complaining about that. On IMDb, the critics gave that, out of 2.4 thousand ratings, they gave it a 6.6 out of 10 stars. Okay, fast
Uh-huh.
forward
Uh-huh.
to,
Let me see.
episode 7 here.
Yep.
Out of 2,000, this is 2,000 reviews.
Uh-huh.
It's currently sitting at 3.7 stars.
Because it's bad.
I want to I just want to drive that home, people. We are not the only ones that are sitting here telling you that this episode was trash. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Because we've been over this, and I'm just rehashing it. There was no there was nothing to do with a plot here.
Nope.
Nothing. There was just nothing to drive a plot forward at all. And I'm all for, yeah, I get filler episodes. I understand it. I don't understand why they do it, but I understand that a lot of shows have them. I don't like them, but I normally don't sit there and completely complain about them. Whatever. This one, I don't know. It hits different. It
Wha-
just hits different. It makes me
yeah.
mad.
See, for me, watching a bad movie and watching a bad TV show are two completely different things. Because when
Hmm.
you watch a bad movie, let's say it's like an hour and a half long, but as long like if I watch an hour and a half long bad movie, yeah, is it annoying? Sure is, because it's like an hour and a half I could have done, spent doing something else. But when I'm investing my time, back to the movie, but it was only an hour and a half. And sometimes watching a bad movie can be enjoyable because that's just how some bad movies are. They either
Right.
do it on purpose or whatever the case may be. But when I invest my time on a TV show, especially a TV show that is based on a video game series that I have loved since I was 10 years old, and you give me shit that has nothing to do with that said series, like, go fuck yourself, pretty much. Like,
Well,
I, I try to
that
watch my
plus then you
language on this goddamn show, but I can't. Like, seriously, fuck you with this damn episode.
well, just that plus you're introducing the first thing I said to you because you and I talked, through Discord off this show, after you watched it, you messaged me and stuff like that. What's where does witchcraft come into Halo?
I don't know.
I don't understand why we needed to include this. There's nothing. I mean, it would have been I'm sorry. This episode to me would have almost made more sense had she journeyed out into the middle of the desert, found like a totally weird cave, and we started to find that it was full of Forerunner artifacts, something like that. And then she somehow realizes that this was what her dad was protecting, and he knew that he
Yep.
had to protect it because it was that. That would have made so much more sense because I'm like, "Oh, shoot, we're bringing in Forerunners, we're going to start telling their story
Yep.
with that." I would have been like, here's what we're doing. This makes sense." Now Madrigal's starting to make sense. This was a Forerunner planet.
Yep.
Instead, we have witches that give you flaming Kool-Aid. You go on a Trippin' Balls spirit tour,
Well, you have to
and you
fight
find
Master Chief.
and you have to you have to punch Master Chief and die repeatedly like a bad video game,
So stupid.
and and you
Oh.
find out that the only purpose in your life is to protect a well.
Yep. It's a portal.
It's a portal! Or at least that's what we're assuming. I shouldn't
Right.
say it is a portal.
Yeah.
It is heavily implied in the episode that it is a portal that for some reason, specifically in the scriptures, Master Chief is the one person that Quan is supposed to deliver, because when she has her spirit journey, she sees a vision of her, what is it, great-grandfather, something
She
like that,
sees
the
a
first.
vision of, like, them all. Like, it goes
Yeah.
from, like, the oldest one, and it, like, morphs into, like, every
Her
generation
yeah,
until her
all the
father.
way down to her dad, and you find out that her whole family has, for some reason, protected this well, and the only reason that that the Master Chief's got something to do with it is because after she gets the living shit kicked out of her by Master Chief 20 times over,
Yeah.
he walks her to this where her great-great-great-grandfather is standing, and he just goes, "He'll be back very soon. You'll bring him here." And I'm just like
Okay. Great.
God, that's sweet,
Oh,
man. That
son
makes
of a
me that makes
bitch.
me excited. I'm just like,
And boy,
"Oh,
I just gotta say, this show loves showing Master Chief out of his outfit, out of his armor.
well,
Loves
yeah."
it. There
Like
was no
you
need for him
see
to have
him.
his helmet off in this episode. There was no
Yeah,
reason for him to be out of his armor in this episode. Even though it's
you
not really him, it's like, what the fuck is the point of this?
you see him when all of a sudden magically wakes up on the Pelican or
Yeah.
whatever, the Condor,
Yeah.
and she's back in that scene from the first episode.
Yep.
He's in his outfit, or in
Yep.
his all of his armor, and then he's in his armor all the way up through the 20 times that she dies by him legitimately just bitch
He
slapping the
reaches
hell
his
out of her.
hand out without his helmet
And
on.
the
You're like, of course.
Yep, and then all of a sudden he reaches down and boom, his helmet is magically gone, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden they walk out of the tent and then boom, all of his armor is gone and he's in
Yep.
his nano suit.
Yep.
I mean, just whatever.
It's
Um
oh god.
so yeah, no, it's just it's it's very upsetting.
Oh, damn. Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, I don't want even want to go through like I mean, we talked pretty much about the I guess the most important parts of this episode. Which to be honest, there are none. It's all
Magic
pointless
Well.
to me. Well, yeah, Magic Well. Woo. That's about it, guys. This episode sucks. So
I'm
if you're
I'm gonna
enjoying this show and you haven't seen this episode yet, just skip it. Seriously. And it's a show. Like it's literally adds nothing to the show and it's not good. So even, I would recommend it if it was like one of those good fillers, which I have seen before. There are good filler episodes that give you a cool little adventure. This just wasn't it. Just wasn't it.
I'm gonna give you my personal opinion, and that's skip this episode, forget this episode, and instead spend like 2 minutes of your time and go watch the teaser for episode 8 on YouTube.
Yep. There you go.
If you haven't seen that yet, I'm telling you right now, episode 8 in about a 2-minute teaser is way more promising than the hour-long episode you get in episode 7.
Yeah. Yep. Because here's the
So,
thing. Uh, even when you get to the part where the well comes into a factor for the whatever happens later on, you're gonna know from watching this. You're gonna know from watching us talk about it. So why waste an hour of your life watching the episode when you could just watch this, a little over 30-minute video of us just literally telling you how
crashing
much
this.
it's
Yeah.
how much this episode sucks. But yeah, I mean that's about it for me. I don't want to keep going. I don't want to keep digging a bigger hole for
I'm
this episode because
yeah,
it's
I don't wanna keep telling people how bad this episode is because I seriously don't wanna discourage them from the series.
right.
The series has a lot of good points and it, I think, does wonderful things, but this was not one of them.
Yep.
It should just be stricken. They should cut it completely out and just make
Yep.
it a 7 episode or 8 episode season, I'm sorry. Um, whatever. Just I'm done. I'm done complaining. I
Uh,
feel like I've done so much complaining.
and and then so if somebody says to me in the comments, "Hey, you spelt inheritance wrong on the graphic," I know I noticed it about 10 minutes in, but I can't change it now. So fuck it. That's just how much I hate this episode. I can't even spell the episode name right.
Whatever. Fight us.
Oh god,
Come
this
fight
is
us.
so great. Ew. Yeah. We're just threatening everybody now. Yeah, fight us. You
Yeah.
don't like it? Fight us.
Come fight us because it's more exciting than this episode.
Oh Lord. Oh. Well, before we
CBS, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, you don't have to be
Hate us.
sorry. No,
If you
no.
see this, hate us, whatever. I'm sorry, but why you gotta do us like this?
Right. Well, that's gonna be it for this review of episode 7 of Halo. This week for content, we don't have nearly as much as we have in the last couple weeks because we are fully done putting out video debuts of our old episodes from last year, and Moon Knight's done. So we have this coming out on Monday, which currently hopefully you're watching. Maybe have a fresh cut this week, either Doctor Strange or The Northman. Maybe, can't guarantee that. And then Friday is our special Friday the 13th episode where me, Dan, and Angela are sitting and discussing the entire Friday the 13th franchise. We're going to be discussing them. We're going to be ranking them. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait for you all to see it. Technically, as of right now, we haven't recorded it yet, but I know it's going to be a blast. And it's definitely going to be good to just take a step back from Batman. It's been 2 months of Batman. It's going to be fun to talk about
Batman.
talk about Jason. Talk about Jason, my boy Jason,
Yeah.
for a bit. Schoening, thank you so much for being here, as
It's
always.
a pleasure, dude.
Unfortunately, we had to talk about this, but hopefully next week and the week after will be so much better.
We're gonna hope that the next 2 episodes kick it into some high gear and
Oh,
prove us wrong that we've been complaining for no reason, but it's always a pleasure, sir. I'm happy to be here.
All of Schoening's links to all of his socials, his Twitch page are going to be down in the description, as are always mine and Dissect That Films. You know, I don't, you go through the whole rigmarole every week. Kind of gets tiring. So everything's always in the description. So if you need to find a link, that's where you go for it.
Look down below.
He's here every week for this. So
I'm here. Hi.
until next week, I am Brett Parker. That is Andrew Schoening. This has been Dissect That Film Slice of TV. Have a wonderful week.
Bye,
Goodbye.
everyone.